That's fine. Right. So let me start discussing on the subject, guys. Right. So before we go ahead, see guys, I would like to check if you guys have any questions. Anyway, we have very limited number of people today, so who are interested into the subject. Any questions or any doubts on what we have covered yesterday on the subject that we have covered yesterday? I mean to say. Okay. So if not, guys, let me do a very quick recap on what we have covered. So we talked about, and by the way, before I start talking about the subject that we have talked yesterday. See, the subject that we went by yesterday is also part of the course. Because we call it as demo, or maybe I call it as day number 1, or maybe I call it as a free session. Don't assume it like this is out of the box subject, or that is not something related to us. So from the moment I have started talking about the subject, it's within our scope, right? Within our scope, right? So please keep that point in mind, basically, right? Because we'll be traveling on what we have discussed yesterday going forward, right? So given that, in notification to you, so we talked about what is cloud, what is on-premise. Basically, we have talked about the difference between them. And also we have tried to understand what is Azure Data Factory, so which is technically an ETL. And also we have seen what is data and then where do we stand as a data engineers, right? Okay, as a data engineers, what we do and where do we stand is something we talked. And also we talked about Microsoft Fabric, and then I walk you through the portal, how a portal looks like, and also the services, that we are going to cover was something we discussed yesterday. And after that, we had, very, very nice, questionnaire session in which we went by, right? Since there are no questions, from your side, so like, we have discussed yesterday. So today we are going to have a live demo. So wherein we'll take a small scenario and then we will see how we can solve it using the portal, right? So we are going to have a practical, session today, right? So yesterday we had the complete theoretical because, that's pretty much, needed on the day number 1. So we have covered, multiple different, concepts and stuff. But so what are we going to look at here is, see guys, I'll take a scenario in such a way. We will perform a small ETL. Yeah? We'll perform an ETL. So we'll do an extract and we'll do it load. See guys, by the way, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. Okay. Can someone confirm if you can see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, sure, perfect. Sure. Okay. So, sorry, 1 second. I have to. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Right. So we'll take a scenario in such a way. We will shortlist a CSV file. I hope everyone knows what is a CSV file. Anyway, I'll showcase you, the file as well. But just to help you understand what we are going to do, we will first take a CSV file, and then we will see how we can extract the data from the particular CSV file, and then how we can load the data into a different location is what we'll see. But even before that, guys, there are some concepts that you have to understand for sure. See, what is Azure Data Factory that we have discussed yesterday? Azure Data Factory is a ETL, right? So where we can perform extract, transform, and then load. If you can recall my discussion yesterday or from yesterday, see, the transformation is optional. See, again, let me correlate with the real life scenario that I've taken yesterday. See, how did we understand ETL first? So like, if you wanted to read a book, what you will do, you'll walk to the book, pick the book from the rack. Picking the book from the rack is a extract. What you do after picking the book, you open the book, flip through the pages, and then you place the book back. So while placing the book back, you might place the book in the same location where you have picked it from, or you can place it in a different location also, right? That's our wish, or whatever we've intended to have is something we can do. But here, the moment you pick the book, you will place it back. But is it mandatory that you read the book? Might not be the case now. See, let's say you pick the book, you got a very important call from your office or your manager have called you, right? So that's priority, right? So generally we'll try to address that. So let's say if the call went for longer time, what we'll do? Even without opening the book, we'll place the book back. है ना? So the same thing here. So in any ETL, not only in Azure, guys, in any platform, the transform is optional. Either we do it or not. Again, that's based on the business requirements. How that can be decided, it is not because I like transformation, I'll go and apply transformation. Or let's say if someone hates the transformation, they don't want to apply the transformation. No, it's not based on it. It is completely based on the business requirements. Okay. So anyway, I'll walk you through multiple different, scenarios as and when we progress. But in this particular scenario, to make our, scenario easy, I'm going to eliminate transform for now. Now we'll talk about transform. We have so many examples coming up in later point of time. But for today, just I wanted to make it as simple as possible. I'm not going to touch base transform. So all we are going to look at is extract and then load. This is what we are going to do. And then to perform this or to make this happen, we are going to create multiple different services. I hope everyone have at least remember the services that we are going to cover, right? So let me pull up my notepad. See, the services that we are going to create now is resource group, tax, data factory, storage, right? So these are the four different services that we are going to create now. And then we will, excuse me, sorry, and we will perform the scenario that we have discussed. Right now, guys, I request everyone. So from today onwards, I'll start using the technical terms. Yesterday, I have used generic terms because that was the day number one. I don't want to flood you with a lot of information and don't want to make it heavy. I used so much of generic. Maybe today also I'll use, but it will come down. The ratio will come down. I'll start using the technical terms, right? So one point before I kickstart. So you have no other choice than remembering these names. So guys, remembering these names is mandatory. Mandatory. See, what is a data factory? You can Google, you can chat GPT, maybe you can ask others and then get the answer. But if you don't know the name of data factory, what is that you will get? Nah? Right now? So that's the reason why. See, if you at least know the name of the storage account, you can go Google or chat GPT and then get the answers, or do any LLM and then get the answers. If you don't know the name of it, you can't search anything now. Even you can't ask a person like Shiva or anybody else, right? So keeping that point in mind, so please do remember the names of them. Huh? See, from tomorrow onwards, or most likely from tomorrow, it will not be one-way discussion. It is going to be multi-way discussion. I'll be asking questions and I would request you all to answer them. And generally my classes will go silent, will not go silent, I mean to say. So it have to be interactive. Otherwise, even I'll feel bored. I'm not sure, how you guys will feel. I'll feel bored. I'm doing the same from last, 4 or 5 years. So it's a routine for me. So there is nothing new for me, right? So get ready for that. So try to remember the things. I'll keep on. Maybe I'll try to ask. Right. I won't force to answer, but at least I'll request you to, answer them basically. Right. So now given that context, so now we know what services we are going to create. And one more point, guys, how we can create the portal, how did I log in it, what accounts I am using, what type of account is this, everything we will start talking most likely on tomorrow or day after. Based on what we cover, either it might gonna happen on tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So when we get there, I'll very clearly explain how you can work on this particular portal by creating it. But again, like I've said, don't create your Azure portal till the moment I say about it. If you already have it, you can continue using that. If not, don't create it. Right. So now you know what is the portal. Now you know the services that we are going to cover. You know the scenario. Now let's get into the scenarios. Yeah. Any questions before I start? Right. So if not, I'll just get into maybe one of the folder that I have here. Let me see if we can, use this. Okay. So we'll do one thing. So I'll just, make it short. Oh, sorry, sorry. Okay. I'll just minimize it. I don't want, complicate the discussion. So let's skip this. Okay. Guys, please look at the data for 30 seconds. And of course, I'll explain you, after that. Right. So what kind of data here we have? We have the customer table data. I have shortened the data so that we'll better focus on the technology than the data. But of course, understanding the data is also, important. But yeah, let's take a look at it. So I have, 5 columns. AEF, right? 6 columns, sorry. 3 plus 3, yeah. 6 columns we have. The first one is the ID column. So wherein I have continuous numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then name style, of course, it is all 0. So it's like a dummy column, but still, I'm going to keep it. And then the title of the customer, whether the person is a Mr. or Mrs. or any other maybe, right? So we have also other category, right? So that's also being captured here. And the first name of the customer, middle name of the customer, last name of the customer. And a simple and straightforward data is what we have in this particular CSV file. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create the Azure services and then first upload this file into the Azure services, and then we will try to implement extract and then load using Data Factory. Right. So for that, the first thing we are going to create is a storage account, resource group, and then the tags. And those are the first 3 services we are going to create now. Right. And more guys, no, I'm not going to deep dive on the properties that we are going to encounter now, but we'll create it and then we'll go forward with that. When we get into the storage account discussion in our, in our future sessions, that time I'll deep dive and then help you understand the properties as well. But for now, let's talk. What is the purpose of storage account? Okay, we are going to create it. That's very clear. But for what reason? Why? What is the purpose of it? Now, let's first talk about them. See, storage account is equivalent to our Google Drive. And it's equivalent to Google Drive. See, what we do in Google Drive? We can create folders, we can have the files, and we can share it with others. You can download it, you can delete it. Right? So that activities we can do on Google Drive. The same you can do on storage. Of course, storage account have much more capabilities than what Google Drive doesn't have. But at least in this scenario, let's assume it that way. So that you can understand the scenario easily. That's the intention here. Right. So let's get in and then let's start creating storage account along with resource group and then the tags. See, again, it's little the portal is little account equivalent to the new account because see, I don't have anything created here. I've just cleared everything, for our session so that you can completely focus from the scratch. Right. See, there is a search bar in the top. So go there and then click on it and then type the service that you would like to create. So now you understand, right? Why did I say that you have to remember the service names? If you don't know the service name, what you will type there, what you will create there. So that's the reason behind it. So just type in storage account. It is searching for it. So look at here, storage accounts. So that's the thing we wish to do it. Storage account, same name, right? So that's let me minimize it so that you can correlate between the screens. So select storage accounts. One second. Yeah. So look at here, there are no storage accounts. Let's go ahead and then create brand new one. Plus create. Okay. So there is a resource group. That's the first thing that we have to create. See, resource group is like a placeholder. Right? So whatever services we are going to create will have a parent name like resource group, right? But again, on day after tomorrow, I'll deep dive and then help you understand resource group with different examples. So that time you can understand it easily. But for now, we are going to create a resource group, create new, and then what is the name of the resource group that you would like to have? I'll say live demo. Maybe no icons. I don't like icons, for some reason. So let's go by live demo. Even in our organization also, we don't use icons. That's kind of standards we are following from many years. Somehow, I I'm continuing with that. Okay. And the next one is the storage account name. Right. I'll say live demo. Yes, yeah. Live demo. So it is checking, validating. See, someone was using the name, so I can't use it. So I think it's clear, right? So let's say if I have to create a Gmail account now, can I create with shiva@gmail.com? Absolutely no, right? Someone else might have already taken it, right? So similarly here also, the name is being used by someone else, so we can't use it. So I'll add the year 26. Let's see if it is being used. I'll use a different one. Okay, it looks to be available. So live demo SA26. Generally, we don't add numbers, but I'll tell you the standards later. But for now, let's keep it simple. So 26 is the year, right? And the region, of course, there are a variety of regions. So for now, we'll go by Central India and I'll go by the default properties, guys. That's what I'm saying. There will be many properties in the storage account. I'll deep dive and then help you understand later point of time. But for now, we don't need it. You are not missing anything, by the way, but we don't need it. So here we have to select hierarchical namespace. But see, the storage account that we are going to create is data lake gen 2. And it's all defaults I'm going with. I'm not going to touch on it. Yeah, tags. What are tags? Hmm. See, storage account name we have passed, resource group name we have passed. So now about tags. Tags. See, tags are like name value pairs. Name value pairs, right? Tags are not at all useful for the development, but it is useful to understand the cost. Understand the cost. See, we have not talked about cost, right? See, on Azure, 99% of the services are not free, guys. 99% of the services are not free. There will be some cost associated for each and every service that we create, each and every service that we consume, right? So let's say, see, generally as a developer, we don't need to bother about the cost or the tax, but think from manager's perspective or manager's point of view, right? So the cost plays very important role for them. The reason being, see, we can't run a project beyond given cost, right? Beyond given cost, no project can go beyond basically, right? So to manage the cost, to understand the cost, tax comes into picture. Other than that, there is no purpose with the tag. With respect to the development, we have no purpose with the tags. No purpose. But anyway, I'll have something like development. Since we are going to develop a process, I'm just going to give a tag like development. That is what we are doing. Right? So next, review plus create. So this is like go through the properties that you have given before you create it. See, name of the subscription, resource group, location, storage account, blah, blah, blah. You just have to make sure everything is good. If you think everything is good, you can go and create. Otherwise, you can go back and then make changes to the properties that you have given. Right now? So click on create. Here, guys, deployment is in progress. That means uh, Azure is creating storage account for us along with resource group and then the tags. It will take about a minute. We'll just give a minute. Right, you can notice the deployment is completed. So green tick mark, indicates success, right? So successfully, we were able to create it. Let's go to the home page. See, now get into the resource group to understand the hierarchy very clear. Click on resource group. See, we have, one second. Sorry. Uh, we are under resource group only, right? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's only the naming convention. That's fine. See, live demo. Sorry. Live demo is the name of the resource group that we have given. So we have seen it. Under that, we have created a storage account. And also tags were also created. Tags will not show here. So there is a separate service called tags. Now get in there. See, development dev. Development and dev. So with that, we are done with this. Created. Done with this. And then let me remove this term. Done with this. So we have just created a resource group. We have created tags. We have created storage. Right. And now again, make sure, see, storage account, it shows storage account. What is the name of our storage account? Live demo SA26. It's only the name, right? So it's not going to be a big thing, but still the name is that. Now what is the next, guys? We have created resource group, we have created tags, and then the next one is the data factory, right? So let's now go ahead and then create it. So we are going to create a data factory on the same lines. Go to the search and again type in data factories. It will be with the name of factories, but anyway, right? It's data factories. Select that. Of course, there is nothing. Go ahead and then create. Okay. Resource group. Did we create resource group? Right? Did we create resource group? The answer is yes. Right. So drop down. See, look at here. There is a resource group already available. We are going to reuse it. See, guys, if the resource group is available, generally it will be available in majority of the cases. If it is not available, then we have to create it. If available, try to reuse it. Don't try to create a brand new resource group every time we create a service. Again, I'll explain you as when we progress, but for now, so that's something you have to know. And name of the data factory. It's a live demo, DF, data factory. See, again, tick mark. So it have checked. So nobody is using this particular name. So it allowed us to use. And region, I'll make it India. What are these regions? Why there are so many means? See, this is a data center. So we are going to create our services in India-based data center. Of course, you can select anything. Anything you wish to have from the drop down. So there are many US, many other countries as well. We can create the one you wish to, because currently this account and then I am located in India, so I've just used it. And there is a logic for that also, but I'll talk about it later. It needs at least 20-30 minutes to explain you all of them. When I get into that particular subject, I'll talk. This is one of my favorite topic out of data engineering, right? Out of data engineering. Right, one of the favorite basically. Yeah, okay. And version is V2, you have no other choice. Next. I'll go by defaults. I'm not going to make changes. The tags, I'm going to add the tag. We created a development tag now. So I'm just going to add this. I'm reusing instead of creating it again. Click on next. And if you are sure whatever you are given is fine, hit on create. Otherwise, we can go back and then make changes. So click on create.
So what is version V2?
Sorry, Monica.
Version V2 for Data Factory.
See, there are two versions till 3 years back. So the moment when Data Factory was released in 2014, it was version V1. Okay. Version V1
Okay.
have very limited capabilities. And after that, they have improved a lot and then added so many capabilities and then they have given it as version V2. That's all. But
Okay.
at the moment, we don't have any other option other than version V2. Right. So now let's get to the home page, get into our resource group. So look at here, guys. Now we have Data Factory, we have storage account, and also we have the resource group, and also there were tags, right? So now all four services are being created. Look at here. Done. This is also done. And all four services are being created. Right? So Data Factory and storage account, you can see behind the screens. These two are under our resource group lifetime. Right. Now what is next? Guys, I'll allocate 10 minutes at the end of our session, just to discuss if there are any. So if you have any questions, feel free to, raise it, basically. So like yesterday, I'll dedicate some time so that we can have, better discussion on this. Right. So what is next? So the next one is like now we are going to upload the CSV file. See, earlier we have shortlisted a file, right? A CSV file. So now we are going to upload this into the storage account and then we will see how we can perform the ETL. Okay. See, for that, I'm going to create a storage account. Sorry, going to use this storage account. So click on it. Data lake storage. So select that. See, like I've said, storage account is equivalent to Google Drive, right? So what do you do in Google Drive? You can either create a folder and then upload files inside, or you can directly upload the files inside also. Na? So, but here I'll try to organize it better. So I'm going to create a folder. Here folder is called as container. Huh? So I'm going to create a folder. I'll say live demo input. So it's going to be the input, right? So I've just given that name. You can give any name basically. So click on create. So live demo input. So select that. I'm going to upload the CSV file into the folder. How we can upload? Simple. Again, like Google Drive only. Click on upload. Either you can browse the file or you can simply drag and drop. I'll simply drag and drop. And either you can browse or drag and drop. Whichever way you are comfortable with, you can go by it. So click on upload. Right, so notice here. Now the file, you can also see just a second ago, the file has been uploaded into the storage account. In fact, you can also see the data. Select that. Edit. See, you can see the data that is available in the particular storage account. So now, as a part of our scenario, we are progressing towards that, right? So we have created the required services and now we have shortlisted a CSV file and then in fact we have uploaded that into the storage account. Now our file is on the Azure portal. And the CSV file is on the Azure portal now. Right. So what is the next step? The next step is to develop a ETL process wherein the process have to extract the data and then load the data into the destination. So for that, what I'm going to do, so we have created a folder and we named it as live demo input. Now, on the same lines, I'll create another folder and then I'll name it as live demo output. Right? See, click on container. I'll say live demo output and a live demo output. So click on create. See, now you have two folders. One is created at my time 9:32 and 9:34. My time, IST, time basically. Of course, live demo output is a brand new container that we have created and it have nothing. And it is going to be, nothing for some time. So what is our agenda now? Our agenda is to develop a ETL process that extracts the data from this folder and then loads the data into this folder. And I extract from one location, load it to another location. It can be anywhere, guys. For to help you understand easily, I've taken within the same storage account. Assume one storage account is from India, The other storage account is from the US. No? Can be anywhere, right? But anyway, I'll elaborate that later. But for now, this is the thing we are going to do now. So I'll keep the page like this. Let me duplicate. Okay. So now we will get into the data factory. Data factory, launch studio. Right. So guys, this is how data factory looks like. Right. Anyway, I'll give very brief as and when we get there. But since we have only 25 minutes, let me get into it. So we are going to develop the ETL process now. So for that, you have to get into the other. And I'm going to develop a ETL process using a resource called pipelines. I guess that's the technical term, pipelines. Three dots, new pipeline. Hmm. So brand new pipeline that we have created. Again, to extract the data from the CSV file, we need to have a process to perform that. Na? So that process is called as copy data. So simply select drag and drop. Copy data is the name of the activity. That's a technical term again. The name of the activity which we are going to use to extract the data from the CSV file. Right? So select that. Scroll down. See, there is a source and sink. See, we have to tell this copy data where the file is located, right? Let's say I have 100 CSV files, maybe tens of storage accounts, maybe hundreds of folders or containers in our account. How this copy data will know where the file is located after those hundreds of combinations? And it's not possible for copy data to go and then find itself for a file, right? So it is our responsibility to tell copy data, boss, this is where the file is located, right? So that's the source data set for us, right? So we are going to create a data set in such a way. Now this copy data will know where the file is located, right? So click on plus new. I'll talk about this data set later, but for now, to connect to the CSV file that is on the storage account, Jet continue. And the data format, the data is CSV. And linked service. Guys, I'll talk about linked service later. It takes time and then it is very, very, very important. And a double underline you have to do. And linked service is also dependent on something called integration runtime. That is also very important. This is like a parent and child hierarchy. I'll talk about it later. Huh? This is not the right time at all to talk about that. Right? So for now, I'll just go without commentary. Connection successful. Great. See, for now at high level, what did we do? We have created a connection to the storage account. The storage account which we have created just few minutes back. Just few minutes back, we have created storage account now. So that connection is being saved in the linked service. At high level, that's the purpose of linked service case. But again, like I've said, we are not going to skip that. That is very, very important. We are going to deep dive and then talk about it when we get into that particular time. Hmm. Next one is file path. So here we are going to browse and then locate the file path. See live demo input. This is the file that we thought to have now. Select that, click on OK. See, look at here. Now we have taken the path. Right now the path is available. Click on OK. See, look at here. Look at here. So now we have created a brand new data set. Created a brand new data set that have the complete details about the file. And I complete it. This is what I told you. Na? You have to tell copy data where the file is located. Otherwise, how the copy data will know? So we will let copy data to know about the file details through a concept called dataset. Dataset will carry all those details about the file, right? See, if you wanted to make sure you have connected to the right file, see, like I've said, assume you have hundreds of files in the storage account. See, in our project, we'll have thousands of files for sure, maybe lakhs of files, I would say, because we have multiple projects running on storage account. We'll have lakhs of files in our storage account. But say I'm doing it for the first time, and then I wanted to make sure I've connected to the right file, right? So that's where preview data comes into picture. So click on it. One second, let me charge my laptop. Yeah. So this preview data, look at here. This is a preview data, wizard. Preview data will help you look at the data that we are going to interact with. This is not for data analysis, guys. This is just like to make sure that we are connecting to the right data. And this is the data we talked about, right? Customer ID, name style, and title, and then the customer name, middle name, first name, and last name, right? So we have connected to the right data. So that's all on the source. Now let's get into the sync. So sync dataset. Of course, for sync also, we are going to create a brand new dataset. We can't use the existing one. There is a concept of dynamic dataset, but I'll talk about it later. But for now, let's go ahead and then create a sync dataset. Why you have to create a different dataset? Because we have to let copy data to know where it have to write the file, right? See, source is like extract. Sync is like load, guys. We talked about extract and load, na? So this is how it works practically. So sync is like load. So let's create a brand new data set where we are going to load the data into data lake gen 2. Linked service I am going to reuse. We have just created a linked service sometime back, and I have told you it's a very important topic, and then we'll discuss it later. But for now, at high level, this have the connection details of the storage account. So selected it, and file path, we have to place it in a different folder now. So we have created another folder called live demo output. So in this particular folder, I want the ETL or the pipeline to create the file. So select that, click on OK. Okay, here you have to click on OK. But there's one thing you have to do. You have to click on open, and you have to give the name of the file that you wish to have. I'll say customer details dot slash. This is the or details output I'll say for you to output. This is the file name I wanted to have in the output storage account folder. You can give any name as long as it is descriptive. Don't give names like Shiva file, blah 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 file, not like that. Little descriptive it have to be. Little meaningful, I mean to say this. Right? So it have to be that way. So, as long as it is good. So let's go. Now let's get back to the pipeline. That's the development we have done on the pipeline, guys. So what I'm trying to say here is we are done with the development of the pipeline. We're done with the development. What is next? The next is to execute it and then make sure it works the way we wish to have. And so click on debug. So look at here, the status, it shows succeeded. And it shows succeeded. So what does this mean? Green tick mark, right? It always denotes success. So what does this mean to us? Now this would have extracted the data from the input folder and then loaded the data into the output folder. And so that's the functionality that it must have done already. How we can make sure? We can visit that particular location and then make sure it have created a file. Right. Now let's go to storage account. Anyway, I have the tab open. See, we have a output folder being created sometime back. Earlier that was empty. Now get inside. See, now there is a file being created. You can look at the timestamp also. Just less than 1 minute ago, it have created the files. Yeah, it have created the files, right? So you can select that. You can also view that. So look at here. It have loaded the data into the destination, right? So that way we can practically have a extract and then load using multiple different services. And using multiple different services. Right? So what we have done, we have made use of Data Factory to extract data from a CSV file that is located on storage account and then load the data into the uh, into a different folder within the storage account itself. But what made this to happen? Data Factory, right? This is what I told you yesterday, right? Data Factory plays very important role in our journey. So look at here. This is what I mean by, right? So the core part is ETL, so which is nothing but data factory. Of course, we can do similar thing with little other services also, but this is more popular than any other. We will see there are variety of approaches, variety of ways. But like I've said, this is the simplest, example or the scenario that I would like to bring since it is just day number 2. Hmm. But again, guys, don't treat it like this is just for demo purpose or so. This is a real life scenario that we are doing in our organization. A real life scenario. Don't misestimate it, basically. Right? Yeah. Now I'll open for questions, guys, before I move it to the next topic. Any questions or anything you would like to add?
Hey Shiva,
Hey,
thank
JP.
you,
Yeah.
thank you for that presentation. I have one quick question regarding the link services.
Mhm.
I know that you used the same link services 2 times, right? For the source and for this destination.
Uh-huh.
So at which condition do we need to use another link service?
Okay. Good question. Yeah. See here. Let's say if your uh, file is located in a different storage account. Let's say JP have a storage account. Shiva also have a storage account. Say I have a linked service that is built on Shiva storage account. Now let's say I have to create or I have to read a CSV file from JP's storage account. So that time I'll create another.
Okay.
Right? So, but there
Okay.
is a way of making it dynamic also. We'll talk about it later, but at the particular scenario that we went by, that's the best example to give.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Anything from anyone else? Guys, feel free to ask. Your question can be simple also. That's fine. We are here to learn about the subject. Right? Okay. See, if not, I'll take one frequently asked question, right? See, generally I get a question from my other batches saying that, can we only extract data from a CSV file or not? See, the answer is no, guys. It supports 100 plus sources. So like I've said yesterday, Data Factory supports 100 plus sources. Say you have data on SQL, say you have data on MySQL, Oracle, IBM, Salesforce, Snowflake, AWS, Google, whatnot. Right? So likewise, it supports 100 plus. Maybe you can have data in a JSON file. You can have data as a CSV file or a Excel file. it supports. And also Data Factory supports generic drivers also, guys. I'll talk about generic drivers later. It needs some, basic information needs to be shared. After that, we'll talk about, the generic drivers as well. Right. So, but for now, let me keep it simple. Yes, the copy data supports 100 plus sources. Out of that, CSV is one. That means there are other 99 plus sources Data Factory supports. Right? So that's how, it goes by this. Right. So with that, guys, if there are no questions, let me move on. So I'm done with the live demo, by the way. So now we are getting into the subject. Of course, this is also a subject, but this is like we will again, look at it as and when we get into that particular services. But I just wanted to showcase you how we can leverage the portal to perform the scenarios basically, or to solve business problems, or to solve data engineering problems. Right? And by the way, okay, so see, you all know, right? I work on Azure. I also work on AWS, right? I have multiple projects that are running on AWS, and I also worked on multiple different ETLs outside of it, right? But if you ask me, Azure Data Factory have very rich user interface. And believe me, it have very rich user interface when you compare with any other ETL. You can maybe consider that as my personal opinion because I've worked on multiple ETLs for many years. But I like it because it have very rich user interface, basically. Right? Okay. So yes, now let me keep the session a little interactive. Right? See, you all approach me, or we were here to learn Azure Data Engineering, right? So we all now understand that Azure is a cloud computing platform. And that's what we learned yesterday, right? So what is Azure? Azure is a public cloud computing platform. So yes, let me ask you this. Other than Azure and AWS, do you know any other cloud computing service provider in the market? Yes, please unmute yourself, or maybe you can use the chat window to answer that.
GCP.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think Oracle has its own cloud services.
Perfect. Anyone else other than Uday and JP?
Uh,
Anyone else?
Even Snowflake comes under cloud.
No, not public cloud computing platform. It just stores the data on the cloud.
hmm.
Guys, others feel free. That's okay. Your answers can be wrong, right? So,
Yeah, I'm not sure about it, but let's say Databricks.
no,
No, okay.
no, right? But it is on the cloud, but it doesn't have all the capabilities that Azure, AWS, GCP, and Oracle have.
Yeah,
Right?
it
Some
doesn't store.
extent, yeah, some extent, Databricks and Snowflake are the right answers, but not on the context that we are discussing.
Mhm.
Does Salesforce also comes under this?
No. Salesforce is limited, Databricks is limited, Snowflake is also limited. But that's a good try, Uday. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah. Guys, come on. We have maybe let me give you some hints. So we have two from China. There are two top, one of the top, I would say, cloud computing platforms from China. Any thoughts?
Uh,
Okay, look at here.
Like Alibaba.
Baba.
Absolutely, Alibaba, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And any other guesses on the other one? See, all
Uh,
these are US based, China
uh-huh.
and Tencent, right?
Mm.
And then you will have SAP, blah, 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 right? Let's not complicate the list. See, guys, the top five cloud computing platforms with respect to the market share are Azure, AWS, GCP, Alibaba, and Tencent. Only after that, Oracle comes into picture. If I have to take you, in a sequence, this is how it is going to. Of course, Oracle will come here, but anyway, the top 5 are Azure, AWS, GCP, Alibaba, and Dataset. Right? Of course, the top 3 are from US, the other 2 are from China. Right. So why did I say Snowflake or say Databricks or Salesforce are not under this cloud computing platform? See, if you take Snowflake, Snowflake can only deal with data. Of course, we are data engineers. That's the right answer. I'm not striking off your answer, by the way. That's almost the right answer. Now let's think from a different angle, different perspective. Let's assume you have to develop a .NET application, a website. Let's say something like say Amazon.com, and let's say you have to develop a website like that. You can't develop on Snowflake. You can't develop on Databricks. You can't do it on Salesforce, but you can do it on the platforms that we have on the screen. Right? Let's say you have to develop a mobile application. Let's take WhatsApp as an example. We can't develop just with Databricks, Snowflake, or Salesforce or any other equivalent. But you can develop it using the computing platforms that we have on the screen. But of course, SAP and Oracle lost the market. They're like maybe less than 5% of the market that they have captured. But yes, using these top 5 computing platforms, we can do. And then now you understand, right, guys, the difference between them. That's why I don't. But though they save the data on the cloud, I agree that. Even not only then, we have Apple Cloud. We have MI Cloud. You take any mobile now, they were on the cloud, right? So they are not cloud computing platforms. Public cloud, public. Right? So those are the top 5 guys. Now you got now. So Azure is one of the top. And also there are variety of data formats. Guys, any thoughts on this? We have actually, if I have to give you a hint, there are 3 types of data formats. First one I'll tell you, structured. Any thoughts on 2 and 3? Any thoughts on
Unstructured.
unstructured? Perfect. And again, it will have the term structure. Structured. Semi-structured, correct. Right? Semi-structured. And I say, guys, you take any project, any domain, there are 3 types of data formats. Structured, semi-structured, and then unstructured. These are the 3 different data formats that we have, right? Okay. Anyway, I'll continue the discussion on the tomorrow. We are at the top of the hour. Let me see if you have any questions still here. Yep. Any questions, guys? I think I'll stop here for today. Okay, guys, we'll keep the session interactive like the way how it is the last 10 minutes. Because till that time it was my sessions, so it is one-way discussion, right? So we'll go in the same way. We'll try to go as much as possible, but of course, having a two-way communication might not be possible in all the discussions, but we'll try to keep it happen as much as possible. But again, guys, one more point. So like I've said, don't hesitate to ask questions if there are any, and also feel free to raise the questions and feel free to try to answer my questions, right? Your answer can be wrong again, like I've said, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
Sure, perfect. So guys, I'll stop here. Again, please, this Zoom link will not work of the moment I disconnect the call. To connect tomorrow's session, again, get the latest link from your point of contact. That's the only request that I have from my side. Right?
Okay.
Right? Perfect. So if there is nothing, have a great day, guys. And I'll catch you all tomorrow, same time, and then we'll continue with the data formats. And after that, we are going to look at how we can create Azure SQL Server, and then we'll go from there. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Wow. Thank you, Shiva.
you.